Morning A group. We are in biology. We are studying, getting ready to go. A couple of things that I'm telling the other class as we're going through this. This morning in homeroom, I heard people talking about not actually watching the videos and that they were just skipping through toward the beginning or to the end so that they could then find out exactly what they needed to know. So here is our plan. You're going to have videos to watch today. Tomorrow, it's an in-service. You guys don't have any assignments to do tomorrow. You are just open for tomorrow. You get a free day. Thursday, you're back in class with me. The other group is going to watch online. We'll do videos this week. Whenever we start the following chapter, so when we start chapter 2, then you're going to no longer have these videos. We're going to be doing Google Meet meetings during your class section time. I talked to Mr. Rob this morning. Keystones are still happening. So we have to make sure that we get all of our information in. Okay, so no questions, obviously, from you because you can't hear me. Anybody out here have any questions? No. Okay. Other thing that I did tell them is that your test is going to be next week. I have an online period, so I'm going to go back down and to the Learning Commons, and I will be uploading to the Learning Commons a copy of this PowerPoint for Chapter 1. I will also post in the Google Classroom a study guide. So if anybody would like to have a study guide for the test, they will always be on the Google Classroom. And then I think that's it. Okay, so let's get started in the work. Maybe, can't find anything. This is where I wanted to pick up because, nope, just kidding. Can't find my mouse. I need a mouse pad. They're sighing at me. I'm sighing at me. No, really, can't find it.
It's there. It's there.
Right there.
There it is. It is like the bane of my existence, finding the stupid mouse pad. Okay, those of you who weren't here yesterday and kind of watched the video, did you see, oh, that's bad, on this slide? Ah! Oh, come on. I can do it. Close one eye.
Only my sister controlled it.
There we go.
No idea.
I find that whenever I use a mouse, I like to make noises. I don't know why, but I do. So, yes, I am very weird. Homeostasis, super important, super important. Make sure you have it underlined. Don't forget, those of you who are at home and you filled in your notes when we had the online day on Friday, anything that is underlined is going to be on your test. So however you need to, I saw a white shirt over there was highlighting stuff. If you want to highlight it or you want to star it or whatever you want to do, but make sure that you know this for your test. On the keystones,
homeostasis is the answer.
it does. So I have a lab aide in here who is a senior, and he said the answer is always homeostasis. Everything has homeostasis in it. It really is super important. Out of the, I think each Keystone Day is 26 questions, so out of the, say, 52 questions, there's probably going to be 4 questions about homeostasis. It's really important that you understand this. So everything that's alive does homeostasis in one way or the other. And I don't know that I got it quite across in the video, so I wanted to hit it again. You do homeostasis when you get hot by doing what?
Sweat.
You sweat. So we talked about how the water goes to the surface of your skin, it evaporates, and it pulls that heat from your skin. That's going to cool you down. How does your dog, what does your dog do when your dog gets too hot? He or she pants, right? They don't sweat, but they pant, and that's how they do homeostasis for temperature. What does a tree do when it gets too hot or too dry?
Die.
Before it dies.
Sure.
Sometimes it's going to wither. We usually call it withering, but the leaves will start to wither. It could shrivel, I guess, you're right.
Well, deteriorate.
It starts to deteriorate. Sometimes if it's a tree, like a deciduous tree, they'll drop their leaves early so that they have less surface area that they have to provide water and do photosynthesis for. So that's the way plants do it. Fungus will often, so say a mushroom, or I just put mulch down this past spring. I did all my landscaping and put down mulch, and I have these really big chunks of, it's called, there's different slime molds, and One of them is a dog vomit, like slime mold, like a fungus. And at first I thought it was the neighbor's chihuahua just like puking in my stuff, but it's not, because then I looked at it more because I'm a weirdo. I definitely took pictures of it and I documented it because that's the stuff I do. So anyway, whenever you look at this one, it starts out kind of looking like dog vomit, but then it started to get really, really dry just because it's summer and it started to get dry and hot. And so it pops up these little things and it looks like a stick with a balloon on the end of it, and they hold the spores. So they pop those up, they release the spores so that they can then stay on the ground until there's rain and then they can repopulate. That's how fungus does it. Homeostasis for temperature or for water content. And then if you think about a bacteria will often, someone's knocking at the door, hang on.
Hello?
Just a kid doing a change, hang on. Wait, gotcha, I see how you did it. Okay. Thank you, sir. I'll see you at 12. I did. So, if a bacteria is losing water, then what they do is they are going to like dehydrate and secrete a shell around the outside of them, and they go dormant, sometimes for thousands and thousands of years, until it's ready, and then they rehydrate, and they're perfectly fine. Any questions on that?
No.
Super duper important. The answer is always homeostasis. If there is a like seriously, like really not joking, if there is a choice and homeostasis is an answer, homeostasis will be the answer. It is really that super duper important. Lab 8 in the back, is that the truth?
What?
If the homeostasis is one of the options, the answer is homeostasis.
Yes.
Yes.
I've
Paul.
taken it twice.
He said, I've taken the keystone twice. Yes, it is always, 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 always the answer. We have 3 things this year that are always the answer. This is the first one. Always, always, always the answer. Surface area is always the answer. I forget what the third one is. I don't remember, but we'll eventually get there. Answer, always, 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 always homeostasis. All right, metabolism, yada, yada. We're gonna scooch on to reproduction. This one is interesting. So reproduction is one of the characteristics of life that isn't essential to the individual. So if you don't reproduce, you're not going to die. You're still alive if you don't reproduce. To the best of my knowledge, all of you that I'm looking at right now have not yet made offspring, and you're still alive. Well, you know, it happens. So it's fine if you have not yet made an offspring. You shouldn't be making offspring yet. You're 15 years old. But what would happen if nobody made new humans?
There would be no
Dead.
human.
Right. We wouldn't be dead. We would be what?
Dead.
Extinct. There would be no more humans. So this is the one that's kind of weird because it's not essential to the individual, but it's essential for the whole population or for the whole species. So in this case, we're talking about reproducing more of their own kind. Specifically, we want to talk about species. What is a species? I'm so glad that you asked. A species is a group of genetically similar organisms. Fine, because you are not genetically identical to anybody here. None of you in this room are identical twins, right?
We are.
I don't know.
You two are identical twins, okay? So none of you are identical twins. Therefore, you do not have identical DNA to anybody else on this planet. So you have similar DNA to everybody else. Whether the person sitting in front of you is a boy, girl, whatever, whether you look alike, you don't look alike, you have very, very similar DNA. That's cool, but the most important thing, because you have like really similar DNA to other things, like monkeys, you are not a monkey, but you have very similar DNA to other primates, other things that have opposable thumbs, other things that can grasp and have a similar shaped head with forward-facing eyes. Okay, so you are genetically similar to those things, but that's not the important part. The important part is this. If you can produce fertile offspring. Why are you dancing?
You can't say my name, so I'm not getting yelled at.
I can still write a D sheet.
Oh, please don't do that.
I just don't put it on the YouTubes that I'm yelling at you for dancing.
YouTubes? You have multiple YouTubes?
The YouTubes. I can't tell you that information.
It's YouTube.
The YouTubes
Sunday.
up here.
Old people
Just
are
like it's the
badasses.
Facebook, the internets. You go on the line. I'm old.
You go on
Buffalo plaid. Can't help
All
it.
this stuff on TikTok. Everyone would get it.
Yeah.
What? Put it on the
Just put
TikToks?
TikTok.
I learned something really awesome on TikTok last night, and I like went into Mrs. Cox's room like 15 times this morning to show her. Do you know what it is?
No.
You know, you're not going to be nearly as excited as I am. So, in the mornings, hang on, I'm going to show you.
Oh, is that what you were telling her this
Yes,
morning?
and then Mrs. Boyle came in. So, like, in the mornings when I come in, I have to log into all of these tabs, and for some reason, it really drives me nuts. I don't know why, but I have to go to the website and then this website. And on the TikToks last night, I learned that you can make a folder in your, like, bookmarks up here, and then I can just go, and it clicks on all of them.
Wow.
It made me so excited. It's the second best thing that I learned on the TikToks.
They like teach you a lot of things. though.
The first best thing that I learned was how to plop my hair, which means because my hair is naturally curly, so instead of like brushing it when I get out of the shower and then using a towel, sorry, I just keep hitting the shield, you like brush it while you're in the shower, and then you get out of the shower and you put a t-shirt on your head to like dry it so it doesn't get all frizzy, and then you like flip your head over and tie your hair up with a t-shirt, and then whenever you take it out, it's just like ringlets. It's awesome. Pardon?
Isn't that the use for do-rag?
No, it's different.
What do you
Make your hair wavy.
Yeah, no, it's different.
Oh, or like to keep your braids down.
Right.
Like laid.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's like a literal t-shirt. Like a t-shirt, like, well, I think you all have microfiber t-shirts on, but like a cotton t-shirt. Yeah.
Isn't that what a do-rag is?
Is everybody's Adidas, is yours that performance material, or is it cotton?
I think this is cotton.
Cotton, yours is cotton. I think yours may be cotton. So just a regular t-shirt like that. I love the TikToks. Where are we at? Fertile offspring, that's where we're at. Okay, so not only can you make babies, but you can make babies that can make babies. Why is that important? Here's why. If you take a horse and mate it with a horse, what do you get?
A horse.
A horse. If you take a donkey and mate it with a donkey, what do you get? A donkey. If you take a horse, hey, white shirt, turn around. If you take a horse and you mate it with a donkey, what do you get?
You get Nick.
You get a mule.
Yeah.
Mules are sterile.
And those mules are sterile, exactly. You can't make more little baby mules by mating other mules together. So there are 3 different species. So that is the important part right here. Produce fertile offspring. So you have the horse species, the donkey species, and the mule species. Any questions on that?
No.
No. Okay. Next, heredity. It's why offspring look like their parents. It's the DNA that you pass on inside of every single one of your cells. Every single one. Hair cell, eyeball cell, toenail cell, fingernail cell is enough genetic information to make you. And again, your DNA is unique to you. Nobody else on the planet has your DNA. It is 100% yours, as long as you're not an identical twin. Someday, and we're going to talk about the process where you make your gametes. Gametes are eggs or sperm, and you make them through what is called meiosis. So you will make those eggs, or you will make those sperm with half of your genetic material, put them together with half of somebody else's genetic material, and make your offspring. Now, one of the things that's different though, and it says here look like, I don't really like that. We have this here now because we're just starting biology. What is better would be why they are genetically similar. Because sometimes children, even though they have the same parents, like brothers and sisters, may not look anything alike. My kids look just like me. There's no doubt that those are my offspring. But I had a family once, and they had like the oldest kid. No, not my second family. No, I had a student once whose family, the first kid had red hair and green eyes. Second kid had brown hair, brown eyes. Third kid had blonde hair and blue eyes. And same mom, same dad. Everybody was the same. They were genetically, the rest of their features were very similar. They didn't really look like mom and dad, but they were still genetically similar. Yes, still same genetic mom and dad. We will spend a lot of time, where's my mouse on that? This really, anybody in YouTube land, if you have questions, can tell me how to find my mouse.
Just use your keyboard.
I'm just old.
This is
My keyboard's way over there.
Well,
Buffalo plaid. Buffalo plaid, you look just like your dad.
that's what I.
That's literally what you just said.
I know. Well, I didn't see his young picture, but he gave us that stop bleed training, so I've seen him around, like driving the truck. The fire. No, wait, he drives the ambulance, right?
He drives everything.
Okay, yeah, I've seen him driving stuff. Genetic engineers are trying to create plants that are more nutritionally balanced. We're going to spend an entire chapter on new stuff. So, and it's weird because it's like changes every year because that's what's happening in technology. We're going to be talking about all of the different ways that we use the DNA technology. It's not just like Mari Povich, who's the dad. It's not just like 23andMe, who you're related to. We have lots of different things that we do, like genetically modify food. We don't genetically modify food for like weird stuff, usually. We usually genetically modify it so that it lasts longer, so that it can be more nutritionally fulfilling, I guess. So like there's some places that eat solely rice is their food source. So some of the really poor places in Asia or like in Africa where they only grow rice, although a lot of like, that'd be like southern Africa maybe, or it's not, or mid-Africa where it's not too dry and not too cold. But anyway, they just eat rice. So in these places where they just eat rice, there's a high occurrence of blindness because they don't get the nutrients that they need. They eat rice for 3 meals a day. So we genetically altered rice so that it contains beta carotene, which, where have you heard that before?
I've never heard that before.
Carrots, right, from carrots. Because when you were little, if somebody said, hey, eat your carrots, it helps your eyes. Did you ever hear that? Oh my God, my kid tells me the other night, the boy, he's 7, he was putting him to bed and he's looking at me. My eyes are weird. I'm not gonna come look at my eyes because you could get the coronas from me. I don't think I have the coronas, but maybe. So I'm not gonna get that close to you, but my eyes are, can't touch them. They're like green and then there's yellow around the middle. And my kid, he was looking at my eyes and he was like, Mom, you've got rainbow eyes. And I'm like, thanks, kid. So then I looked at his and I said, yours, buddy, his are green and then it's kind of like an orangey brown in the middle of his. And he goes, that's because I ate the carrots you told me to eat. Aw, you're so cute. He used to say that he had tiger eyes because they were green and he could see in the dark.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's adorable. My daughter has blue eyes with yellow in the middle, so it's like mine, but just blue. And she says that her eyes, what does she call them? The sun and the ocean. She's like, Mom, I have mermaid eyes. They're the sun and the ocean. She's 5. She's a drama. Oh, this morning was even more insane drama. She's just, anyway. Where are we going? Beta carotene, rice. So we genetically altered this rice so it has beta carotene so that the people who were going blind weren't going blind. We also made it drought resistant so that it could be grown in places where they normally didn't have as much rain as you would need in order to grow rice. And then we took it to these places and said, here you go, here's rice. Grow all of this rice. And guess what? They grew all the rice. And guess what happened? Their eyesight started to improve. It was awesome. Okay. We do it to find ways to treat or to cure AIDS. That's pretty much done now. This is kind of an old slide. It used to be if you were diagnosed with having HIV or AIDS, it was basically weeks, months before you were dead. It's not like that anymore. You can survive and you'll probably die of old age because we've figured out medicines and treatment plans.
Well, we can't get rid of it.
No.
I want to die.
Pardon?
Yeah, what's that?
Asexual and sexual reproduction in this, here's one. This is in red. I don't know if you can see that it's red. it says genetically identical. Make sure that in your notes you have genetically identical as opposed to that looks similar. So in asexual reproduction, how many parents do we have? One parent. In asexual reproduction. What time is this over? 34. It's 24. You can take your masks off for mask break. In asexual reproduction, you have one parent. Therefore, that parent is genetically identical to the offspring. Offspring, parent, genetically identical. It's one cell. They divide into two. That's it. Okay. In sexual reproduction, you need two parents, and you end up with genetically, again, make sure your notes say genetically similar, but not identical offspring. So you're taking two halves of DNA, half from mom, half from dad, uniting them together and making a baby. And lots of things, lots of things do this. There's some things like some plants that do the same exact thing. They reproduce sexually. Sometimes they can have more than one parent though. They have us, we're called diploid because we have two sets of chromosomes. Di means two. Some things can be triploid, so they have three sets of chromosomes, but that tends to be plants.
4.
You do not have 4.
I have 4, that's why I have a pin in my toe.
Wait, can I see the pin? Is that thing sticking out?
This green thing? Yeah.
Yeah, if you pull
His
that
dad
out, you
said he's
probably
gonna rip it
off
out.
stuff.
I really want to rip it out.
Wow.
What's
I don't
wrong
know
with
why,
you?
because it looks like a push pin. It's just sticking out of your toe.
You don't belong there.
Ew, you're wiggling it.
Bro, that's not cool.
It doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
Can you
if
feel
put
anything in
it
your
like
foot?
a pin cord, yeah, it works like
Sometimes I don't even notice that I have it in my foot.
Are they going to take it out or are they going to cut it off?
We're gonna take it out.
Okay. Not his foot, but like
Keep
cut
it
that little
there
knobby
really
off.
hard.
Ugh.
That'll rock.
Huh.
Dog.
Wow.
Amazing.
I believe this is our last characteristic of life, change through time. Everything changes. So here's an embryo. So at 8 weeks, still kind of looks pretty alien-like. And then as we go on, you were born with all the same parts that you have now. They just get bigger. Kind of the same here in the seed. So a seed is basically a plant embryo with a protective coating on top of it. Hang on one second. And so the seed turns into the seedling and then into the plant.
Great question.
I'm so scared right now. Okay, what's your question?
If you're stuck in your mother's stomach for 9 months
Okay.
before you come out of the womb, how do you not have back problems when you're older? Because you stay basically in one position.
Okay, so the question is, how do you, if you're inside of your mother's womb, not stomach, which I'm glad you corrected yourself, because you're not like just hanging out with like dinner, but if you're in your mother's womb for 9 months, how do you stay in that position and not end up with back problems? Well, part of it is that the baby's skeleton it's still bone, but it's still kind of a soft bone, and parts of it are going to harden. Like, think about a baby. Babies don't have kneecaps. Do you know this? Babies don't have kneecaps.
Yeah.
Okay, so they don't have kneecaps, it's just cartilage, and then when they start crawling, that friction and that pressure is going to cause that to harden into kneecaps. Okay, so it's kind of the same thing. Babies can have back problems though. So my son was breech, meaning that he was face up instead of like face down.
Okay.
So he was down the whole time, ready to go, and then at 38 weeks, so I was like ready to have this child. He was a full-grown child in there. And he flipped. I was laying in bed and he flipped. Like, I felt him, he made the bed shake. Like, I was like, what is happening right now? And then I went to the doctor and they're like, oh yeah, he flipped. And then he got his little head stuck right here under my ribs. So I could feel him like right here. Like, I couldn't breathe I could breathe, it just felt his little head. So they did a C-section and they planned it and they're like, yep, he's still the wrong direction. So, and then they pulled him out, but they had to pull him out like butt first because that's what was facing up, like where the incision was. So then I had him, took him home. Every time I'd lay him down, he would just cry, like scream and cry. And I'm like, what is wrong with this kid? So I had been seeing a chiropractor my whole pregnancy, and she would do like pregnancy massages and pregnancy adjustments. And I caught her and I'm like, hey, what's wrong with my kid? And she said, bring him in. So I brought him in and she adjusted him. No, a kid just made this motion. No, not like that. She laid him on his stomach, and she just pushed, just like teeny tiny little pushes like this, right at his tailbone. So like right back there. And she just kind of went like that, and he went, and then he had a giant poop, and then he slept for like 12 hours straight. Right. And what it was when they pulled him out by his hips, they popped one of his hips out of place. Not like super out of place, but it just kind of misaligned. If you've had your hips out, you can kind of feel it. It's painful, but it's not like, oh my God, I can't walk. So she did that, and he was a lot better. So kind of yes. Babies do sometimes get cramped, or because of birth, they maybe be out of alignment so that they need some type of chiropractic adjustment. But otherwise, their skeletons are still soft. Good question.
I saw this one video. This guy was trying to line the baby's back, actually snapped it in half. It was awful.
Why did you
What
watch
kind
that?
of videos are you watching?
It was on Instagram. I saw
Ah.
Oh, ma'am, I'm sorry to say, but I paralyzed your baby.
it. No, and you could hear
Yikes.
a crack. It's like slightly, and it goes.
Yeah,
and the
it's
baby's
tiny
crying
little
like crazy.
things.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, that's awful. All right, so we are coming to the end of the class period. B group, you're going to have a video that you're going to have a Google form that you're going to need to fill out about this. I will see you on Thursday, and I'm going to sign off for you, and then I'm going to talk to A group. Whoever's watching this at home right now, A group. I'm going to talk to B group in a second. So A group, have a good day. I'll see you in class on Thursday.